Hi, I'm Olivia from Wilkinson Cameras, and today we finally get our hands on the long-awaited Sony A7 V. It's been 4 years since the Mark IV was released, and this model has been rumoured for a long time. So this should be exciting. I'm going to walk through the brand new sensor, brand new processor, the redesigned screen, improved continuous shooting and autofocus, the much anticipated video specs, and plenty more. I'll also cover what's changed from the A7 IV. But before I dive in, don't forget to like the video, drop a comment letting us know your thoughts on the A7 V, and subscribe for more content like this. Now, just a quick note before we get started, this is a first up video. Alex and I were invited to Sony HQ to test the camera, but we only had a few hours with it. Sony haven't paid us, and they haven't seen or approved this video before launch, so everything you'll hear today is entirely our own honest opinion. Just a massive thanks to Brooklands Museum for letting us test the camera there too. Right, let's get into it. So who's the Sony A7 V designed for? Well, the A7 IV and the 3 before it are all-round entry-level cameras in the Sony's full-frame lineup, although calling any of the models at the time of launch entry-level doesn't really do them justice. The A7 IV is well known as a strong hybrid camera for weddings, events, and enthusiast shooters. The question has always been whether it was fast enough for action and wildlife. The A7 V introduces a new partially stacked 33 megapixel sensor and the new BIONZ XR2 processor. This brings faster readout, higher burst speeds, better autofocus responsiveness, cleaner video, and much, much more. It opens the door to faster action shooting without losing the all-rounder appeal that made the A7 IV so popular. With the same resolution as the A7 IV, it still lends itself to portraits, weddings, events, and even landscapes. So speed is where the A7 V takes a noticeable step forward. You now get blackout-free 30 frames per second electronic shutter compared to the 10 frames per second blackout shutter on the A7 IV, but do note that this is only with Sony lenses. Third-party options from brands like Sigma and Tamron cap the camera at approximately 16 frames per second. At 30 frames per second, you can shoot up to 85 RAW and JPEG images, 95 compressed RAW images, or 185 JPEG only images. This is only about a 3-second burst, and to achieve these speeds you do need a fast Cat A card. Slower cards or SD cards won't be able to keep up. We've actually recently tested the Canon EOS R6 Mark III, which is a camera that really competes with the Sony A7 V and is the same price at launch, and the R6 Mark III didn't have any buffer issues at all. So this is definitely something to consider, and to be honest, a little bit disappointing here. But a great new upgrade is pre-capture. The camera buffers up to a second before you fully press the shutter, tracking AF and exposure as it goes. It is not as fast as the A9 Mark III, which starts buffering at 0.005 seconds, but it makes capturing the exact moment much easier. You can assign it to a custom button or trigger it with a half press. Since there is no C5 button like the A1 Mark II, you will need to map it to something else, such as like a lens button. There is also a continuous speed boost. Your normal burst rate might be 10 frames per second, but with a custom button, you can jump it up to 30 frames per second instantly. Some photographers map this to a lens button for easy access. These additions make the A7 V feel more capable for action and wildlife compared to the Mark IV. Rolling shutter performance is also improved thanks to the new processor. Technically, there is still a small amount of skew, but it's barely noticeable in real use. Fast pans or moving subjects look much smoother than before. Image quality remains excellent. The 33 megapixel sensor offers strong detail and dynamic range. ISO sensitivity goes up to 204,800 I capped it at around 6400, but Alex pushed it to 12,800 and the noise was surprisingly acceptable. The A7 IV was also remarkably capable in low light for a higher resolution sensor, so it's good to see that this new sensor seems to retain this capability. RAW shooters will appreciate the high resolution RAW processing, which uses multiple image apertures for maximum detail. Composite RAW shooting is also supported, as seen on the A9 Mark III and the A1 Mark II, combining exposures for lower noise and extended dynamic range. Neural network processing can also enhance single RAW files. We didn't get to test any of these modes, but they should produce detailed, flexible files. Autofocus performance is sharp, responsive and reliable, whether you're tracking a plane through clouds or birds against a busy background. It performs as expected from Sony. Unlike earlier models up to the A7 IV, which use a dedicated AI processing unit, the A7 V combines everything into a single system on chip for lower power consumption and lower heat output. It has 759 phase detection points covering 94% of the frame. You can fine-tune tracking sensitivity either to keep focus locked on a single subject or to react more aggressively to movement. New area modes include extra large and extra small zones for better precision, and AI-driven recognition improves accuracy. It can recognize humans, faces, heads, bodies, animals, birds, insects, and vehicles, and it intelligently prioritizes the correct subject area, such as focusing on the front of a train rather than the middle. Animals can actually be detected by their limbs. And also there's an auto mode which handles all of this seamlessly. The A7 V improves on the A7 IV's 5.5 stops of stabilization with 7.5 stops from the center and 6.5 stops at the periphery. In real use, it feels very stable. Alex managed a 25th of a shutter handheld with a sharp result. For video, there is now dynamic active stabilization. This provides the strongest correction by combining sensor shift with electronic stabilization for smooth handheld movement, though with a slight crop. Active stabilization also uses both methods, but with less correction and less crop. Standard uses sensor shift only and retains the full frame. Now for video, many hoped for open gate recording, internal RAW and 32-bit flow audio. These are not included, but what you do get is uncropped 4K 60 frames per second, which the Mark IV users have been asking for. You do also get 4K 120 frames per second in Super 35 mode with a crop. The A7 IV was limited to Full HD 120, so this is a noticeable improvement. Sony are clearly responding to user feedback in some areas. The rest remains on our wish list, and with intense competition in recent models, Canon and Nikon, where video is concerned, it's interesting that this feature has been missed. All video is recorded in MP4, H.264 and H.265. Vertical shooting now feels more natural with a vertical user interface and menus. Recording options include 42, 10-bit and all intra for easier editing, and flexible ISO is also included, as seen in higher-end Sony models like FX2 and FX3. It allows the camera to adjust ISO gradually within a set range rather than jumping in full stops. This makes exposure transitions smoother and is very helpful in S-Log when you need to protect your highlights and shadows. Set a base ISO and a maximum limit and the camera handles the rest with minimal noise. You can import LUTs via mobile or SD cards, preview them and embed them into your footage without baking them in, allowing easier shooting whilst retaining post-production editing options. Auto framing is also available and works well. It crops into your image and tracks you as you move around the frame. Useful for solo shooters, though not something I personally use. Overheating performance is improved. At 25 degrees Celsius, you can record 4K for around 90 minutes, similar to the A7 IV. At 40 frames per second, you can get around 60 minutes compared to 10 minutes on the A7 IV. This is thanks to a more efficient processing. Sony is not claiming that the camera is immune to overheating, but there are supposed to be huge improvements. A new power saving mode dims the monitor after inactivity, helping preserve the battery life without interrupting your workflow. The A7 V includes built-in wind noise reduction and noise cut processing with the internal microphone, a first for Sony. It reduces constant ambient sounds such as air conditioning or fans, improving clarity with both internal and external microphones. I didn't get time to fully test this and how flexible it is in post-production, but the results I heard seems promising. For the first time on a Sony camera, you get 2 USB ports, one supporting higher speed transfers. This allows you to tether to a hard drive and power the camera at the same time, allowing longer recording sessions and especially ideal for streaming. Live streaming is also possible at 4K 30 frames per second, and HD streaming is optimized to avoid overheating through the UVC. Updated Wi-Fi protocols also improve security and make wireless transfers more reliable. Ergonomically, there are only small changes from the A7 IV, which is something many were hoping would be more substantial. That said, it does feel good in the hand. The 4-axis LCD, like on the A7R5 and the A1 Mark II, allows tilting and flipping in multiple directions. The grip has been redesigned, but it's so slight that, I'll be honest, I didn't really notice it. Vertical shooting is more intuitive with portrait-orientated menus similar to the ZV-E10 and the A9 Mark III. You can now also adjust menu beeps and shutter sounds more easily or turn them off entirely if you want to. This might seem like a minor change, but it does allow more customization of the camera, and crucially, it's another layer of accessibility for people with hearing or sight issues. This is something which Sony are particularly good at. Battery life is rated at 630 shots, which is a strong improvement on the previous models, and compared to cameras like the Nikon Z6 Mark III, which is rated 380 shots, or the R6 Mark II at 450 shots. In my short time with the camera, battery life wasn't an issue, though it would need much longer real-life testing to form a proper opinion here. Same as the A7 IV, you get a CF Express Type A slot plus 2 UHS SD card slots and the same OLED EVF. The Mark IV is slightly smaller and lighter, but only slightly. The A7 V weighs 695 grams, including battery and card. It balances well even with larger lenses and feels solid without feeling too heavy. At launch, the A7 V is $2,799 body only, placing it directly alongside the recently released Canon R6 Mark III. We have done a big review on that, so check that out if you want to compare between the two models. Overall, the A7 V is a great camera, and many of the upgrades are necessary and wanted by Sony users. Though I think we can acknowledge that we've been waiting a long time for this release, and it's competing with very strong releases from competitors like Canon and Nikon. Is it worth upgrading from the A7 IV? Well, if you want full frame 4K 60 frames per second video, 30 frames per second continuous shooting, improved stabilization, and improved autofocus, then yes, it's worth it, especially for sports, wildlife, or any fast moving subjects. If you currently use an A7 III, then this is a very compelling upgrade and it is going to give you a huge leap in performance. Where things might get tricky is if you're not currently in the Sony ecosystem and are choosing between models like the Canon R6 Mark III, the Nikon Z6 Mark III, and the A7 V, but that would be a whole other video. Let me know your thoughts. Would you buy one? Were you expecting this? Did you want the A7 V to have any other features? Let me know in the comments below. And if you're in the UK and interested in the Sony A7 V, please buy from us at Wilkinson Cameras. We are a privately owned camera retailer based in the north of England, and you can shop online or visit one of our high street stores across the northwest. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.